I'm doing the installation video. Alright, it's a cold day today. We're working on this quail room here and there and doing some insulation, and I thought, what a great time to do a video about insulation. When you're working on a homestead or a farm or even just projects around the house, you're going to run into a time where you want to insulate a building. And you're going to go to the store and have to decide what kind of insulation to get. Now, today I'm just going to talk about two kinds of bat insulation. That's going to be the cotton denim insulation that's supposed to be natural and healthy and safe, and then the regular old fiberglass insulation. This is a formaldehyde free version of it. Okay, the reason I want to talk about this is because I made a mistake. When I was working on our home, I did a lot of research and I was trying to figure out what's the best thing to use, and I bought a whole bunch of this blue denim insulation. This was supposed to be natural and safe and good for the air quality and good for, you know, non-itchy. They show kids laying on it. And I'll tell you, I was honestly very disappointed in this. First of all, it's very difficult to cut. You need special tools or some strong, really strong scissors, and you're gonna get blisters. It's just tough to cut. You can rip it, but it's a mess, okay? The second, I'll talk about this. The fiberglass insulation, it's extremely easy to cut. You lay a 2x4 on it, a board, anything, you press down, and you can just slice it with a box cutter or a knife, and it cuts very cleanly, very nicely. And the important part of that is that when you cut this, or when you touch it even, I don't know if you can see it, but when you touch this, it releases lots of fibers. Just fibers everywhere. It's actually extremely difficult to work with. It gets in your throat. If you use this, it's not like the pictures. You're going to be coughing, you're going to be sneezing. Your house, or whatever you're working on, will be covered in blue dust. This releases a ton of fiber and dust. And it doesn't matter if it's natural, it doesn't matter if it's cotton or anything else. If you're breathing in a lot of anything, if there's a lot of dust and fiber in the air, it's bad for your lungs. It's going to give you, it can give you some of the same problems that the fiberglass can, okay? It's not any safer. You don't want to breathe in sawdust. You don't want to breathe in anything in vast quantities. It's going to hurt your lungs. And I find this is extremely messy, okay? I mean, it covers everything. It's the dirtiest insulation I've ever worked with. The fiberglass stuff, yeah, it will release fibers, especially if you rip it or something. But if you're cutting it, it's minimal. If you're working with it, it's minimal. You don't really notice it. It doesn't make a big mess. It's so much cleaner to work with. I guess the third thing that bothered me is it doesn't look like the pictures. In fact, this stuff is very thin. I don't know if you can see this. It just takes forever to fluff up. Even touching this is making a mess here. It takes forever to fluff up, and some of it just doesn't fluff up. It just stays thin and flimsy and barely fills the wall cavity. The fiberglass, it puffs up pretty nicely and evenly, as it should. So I feel like I wasted a lot of money that I really didn't have on this stuff. It's very expensive, and that's another thing that you have to consider. It's very expensive. I thought I was doing something good for my family. I thought I was doing something good for myself. But honestly, I'm disappointed with it. It was a waste of money, and now I'm only going to use fiberglass. It's easy, it's cheap, and it works, and it's cleaner. The whole air right here is being filled with fibers, and not from this. Maybe a little bit, but it's from this. Just from touching this little piece. So I just wanted to let you guys know, I tried it, I didn't like it. You might have a different experience, but I found that it was not worth the money. So if you're going to be working on an insulation project, just get the fiberglass. or you know, maybe research some other alternatives. But if it comes down to a bat insulation and you're looking at this stuff because you want to do something healthy, natural, that's not the stuff. It didn't work for us. We're not happy with it. It was a waste of money. I wish we just stuck with the fiberglass to begin with. I was afraid of the fiberglass insulation because I hadn't really worked with it before. I've done a lot of building, but not so much insulating. And I thought it was going to be a pain to work with. I was going to be so itchy and everything else. But it was actually really easy to use the fiberglass. It cuts easy. If you're wearing short sleeves, you're going to get itchy a little bit on your arms. But if you put some long sleeves on, you wear a dust mask, which you're going to have to wear regardless of which one you're using, then you'll be fine. I noticed, yeah, I don't know. You know, I noticed that when Fauchomatic, a lot of you probably know them, when they built their house, they used a mix of the blue insulation and the fiberglass. I believe they bought the blue stuff and they were given the fiberglass, so they used it. And I would be really interested to see how they felt about working with the two and what worked better for them, because I was just shocked by how thin and dusty and messy and difficult this was to work with. I was just not happy with it at all. And it's still a big regret of mine is how much money I invested into that for the house, and it wasn't worth it. So that's it. Just wanted to do a quick video on insulation. I hope that helps somebody. We're going to be working on the coil room here, putting insulation in the ceiling and then the front wall around the door. It's almost done. We're just waiting for some more money and some nicer weather, and then we can get moving on this project. So I hope that was helpful and something to keep in mind.